we're here. Sorry we're a little bit late. Better late than never. Hope some of you guys can still join us. Just waiting for Bren to hop on. Okay, I think she's coming on. Hi! Okay, go the other way.
Okay, shoot. This way.
Yeah. How
Okay.
are you?
Here we are.
I sure hope that you will be able to see my face this whole time.
I
For this.
remember now that. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to have my phone plugged in. We're just going to pray that my battery lasts. It's going to be fine. I'll plug it in if I need to.
Okay, yeah. You probably need to plug in. It drains it quick. So welcome to another live with Meg and Megan of Megan Claire.
I know. I'm so sorry again for the delay. Y'all, it's totally my fault. I had the time wrong. I was like doing my nighttime routine. And Meg's like, wait, it's time.
Time changes. Yeah, Claire and I deal with it all the time. She's on Pacific and I'm on East. So it's like, it's not good. But let's just jump right in. So this live is,
sorry, people.
somebody said, try grabbing a cup to balance the cord and keep the phone up. Good tip.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So this live is specifically about intentionality. Last time we talked to you, we talked about minimalism. That's your thing and that's your business, is decluttering and minimizing. But, and last time we talked a lot about like the why behind minimalism, which is being more intentional or having time to be more intentional when you're not messing with all your stuff. So tonight we're going to go into, Bren has gotten she's put together 5 ways to be intentional this summer, 5 tips.
Ashton's out there saying, you need more light. Is it dark? Am I dark?
No, it's not too bad. I really, as a professional podcaster, I can't believe you guys don't have a tripod.
I know. Well, we do. I'm just ran out here to get it started, and I'm in his studio, and he's out there probably watching, and he's horrified of my production skills.
Well, he has editing, and we don't.
Exactly. So, this is live.
You know, if he went live, we don't know what he'd be like. So
exactly right.
So I wanted to start off with introducing you. You're a minimalist. You live very intentionally with your family and your husband and your kids. And Bren and I know each other from Wichita Falls, Texas, when I lived there. She and I both moved the same summer. I moved to DC. She moved back to her hometown of Waco, Texas. And she lives with her husband and 2 little girls. And do you want to say anything about your life or your family, your business, just to introduce yourself?
You summed up most of the things. My business is called The Art of Neat, and it's been around, I started it about 18 months ago. And I've lived here it'll be a year in July. And it's been a really sweet year of transition here. Ashton's still commuting back and forth, but our whole family isn't commuting as often. So that's been a great talk about minimalizing. We have minimized our travel and what we were asking also just our girls to do all the time. So it's been a really sweet year. We're really grateful.
Awesome. Okay, so I thought we could talk about the why.
Yeah.
For intentionality before we talk about the how. I know you have some really great practical tools for us, but let's talk about why you live intentionally and what brought you to like that paradigm shift in your life where you said, okay, I'm not going to live and just be busy all the time and not really know where my time is going or what I'm doing, but now I'm going to live this intentional life. Talk to us about the catalyst for that.
Yeah. Great question. So my husband about 7 years ago just experienced major burnout. He kind of wound up with just gut issues and major physical ramifications of the stress and the way that he was running and blowing and going. And I was pregnant with Sterling at the time. Story was still little bitty because they're only 22 months apart. So we were in the throes of it. And I was kind of unaware of how hard he was going because I was going so hard as a mom. And then he kind of had this like major health crisis and ended up at home for 2 days in silence. And I took Story with me, and he just had this moment where he just did a lot of thinking and reading. And he was like, we need more and more of less and less. And if we don't run after that, then we're all going to burn out. And this is just not sustainable. And so we just kind of at that moment adapted. Okay, what does it look like? We've got this many years with our girls, and it's a thing we say every year is 12, 11, 10. We're doing this countdown of the moments we have with our girls, and they are our priority and our focus in this season. There will be a time where we will be empty nesters, and that will be a different season, but we have just tried to really focus on, okay, it's just a short season. And this is the only time we have them. And so we want to lean in and do it really well. And so that was definitely the catalyst of the more and more of less and less in our home. I mean, it went from everything to our home, to the workplace, to raising our kids, to activities that we do, the things that we say yes to. It was across the board in every area of our lives.
What did your life, like practically speaking, look like before this happened versus what it looks like now?
So I will say, even growing up, my parents will say, and I have a very, very close family unit. If you follow me, you know that. My siblings are my best friends, and my parents are my best friends. We're all very close, but my parents always say their biggest regret is that we were over-involved. I was playing traveling sports in 3 different sports. They're with my phone. We did everything, and my parents wanted us to have the opportunity to do that. And so they've continued to tell me, just don't. I don't care if you can, don't. And so I've always had that in the back of my mind. And so as our kids weren't even in that stage where they could do that yet, but they are now. And we feel like we're going upstream. We feel like we're not doing what everybody else is doing at times. They can pick one thing to do, and even though they want to do more and we could have them doing more, there's that evening time that's so important. And where Ashton's family, they sat down at the dinner table 6 nights a week without fail. And that was something that his family brought to the table. And so we kind of merged and said, what is this going to look like? So we just settled yes a lot more. He was on too many boards. I was as an Enneagram 2 helper. I was helping too many people for free, which is kind of why I transitioned into helping for a business, because I was already doing it, but I was giving away my time. And I had to learn that my time has value. And even you keep telling me, your time has value. Don't give it away. So I'm still learning.
So a lot more no's.
Yeah.
A lot more focus on home versus inward focus versus outward focus.
And in that inward focus, we're still like the girls and I were at CareNet Pregnancy Center this morning, learning about our new ways we're going to volunteer this summer. So even though it's in and out and with. It's all of it together, which I feel like is so important. But I get to do it with them instead of apart from them, which is so beautiful. So
yeah, that you guys can experience that together.
Yeah.
Okay, talk to me about your love of summer. Like, where did that come from? Like, no one loves summer like Friends. When I was like talking about this live, I said, you know, I'm not you. Like, I'm definitely not your type of, like, I love summer. I'm like, give me the structure, give me the childcare. I need some alone time, although I've been homeschooling, so I haven't had a lot of alone time this year. But when I see your life and your when I talk to you and when you write, I'm always so inspired, you know, like your love for your summer with your girls is something to aspire to. So tell us about how that started for you and how you like got on fire for summer.
Yeah. I think I have always loved being outside since I was a kid. I grew up going to Kanakuk camps in Branson, Missouri. When I was a kid, I went for 10 years. I worked there as a counselor. My degree from Baylor University is in church recreation. So basically, it's like my dream was to run a summer camp for my whole life. So since I didn't do that, I basically run life like a summer camp.
Okay. I can see
So
that. Yeah.
so when it's time for summer to actually be here, that I guess it's just when I feel fully alive. I feel like we get to swim and splash and play, and it's light, and you get to be outside and there's more daylight. You get to catch fireflies. It's just all the simple little things. It's hot, so you eat a popsicle. I've always wondered about people in Texas complaining about the heat in the summer when we have lots of water to be in. So I'm like, just be in the water. If it's hot, just be in the water.
Right. Right.
So the hot, even mugginess doesn't bother me. I think it's just, it takes me back to being a little kid. And now I get to do that with my kids.
Okay. Yeah.
And playing, like the girls and I the other day in the pool with my niece, we played that dunk game where you like, they have to guess a color. Do you remember this game?
No.
Y'all, anybody Instagram live out there? Do y'all remember this game? You like hold them in your arms and you dunk their head when they get it wrong. And then when they get it right, you like flip them over. I mean, I was like doing handstands with them in the water, playing this game forever, laughing because it just makes me feel 8 again.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe I love summer because I'm a child at heart. I don't know.
Yeah. Reminisce. Someone said the washing
Yes,
machine.
everybody remember. Okay, y'all
Okay.
remember. Thank you. I'm not alone.
Okay. So, why the intentionality on summer? I mean, I know you're intentional all the time, but why do you think it's so important for us moms and dads to be so intentional with summer specifically?
I think it's because of what you said. We lose sight. In my family, we do like a fall bucket list, a winter bucket list. We kind of continue that intentionality throughout each season because it's just fun. Okay. But I think for summer, especially because you've lost that structure, and I think for moms like yourself that feel overwhelmed by like the newness of, oh no, the kids are descending upon the house. I have no things for them. It just gives us action plan. And I think when we can be people of action, we have more focus and purpose. And just like that structure gives you, the intentional fun gives you that same, I'm living on purpose. And so I think it's just the nature of summer being a little bit empty as well. Like even our beach trip that my whole family's going on next week, I have this like 3-page, all the fun things that are happening, all the things we can do. It's not a scheduled itinerary, but it's an action plan of if we want to do things, we're going to have to make a plan to do them, or else they're probably not going to be done.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think we can wake up and it's August and then we didn't do all the things we wanted to do.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that takes us into your 5 thing, what about 5 ways to be intentional. So let's start with number 1. You already mentioned it a little bit. So just go ahead and like keep
so the first one is create a summer bucket list. I did not invent this. I don't know who was the originator of it, but I love it and I'm thankful for whoever did create it. We have done this. Do this again. Whoever said the cup idea. I'm failing.
You're back.
I'm back. Okay, so the summer bucket list. Fourth summer doing it, I normally ask the girls for a few ideas they want to do, and then I surprise them on the last day of school, and I have it printed off as a poster, and it's simple little things like doing something for a neighbor, and it can be extravagant, like our favorite snow cone place at our favorite beach. So it's simple, big, everything in between. We try to do, like we said before, the inward outward focus. Some of it is outward focus on other people, and then some of it is just the simple things about having fun. One year it was when Story needed to learn how to dive off the diving board. One year it was Sterling tying her shoes. Again, it just gave us action and purpose for what was ahead.
Okay, is your bucket list accessible where you could show it to us? Because people love seeing like ideas.
I know. I'm like, Ashton, if you're still here, go get it and bring it in here.
Oh, was he on? I didn't see him.
I don't know if he's still on.
Okay.
And you're frozen again.
Oh, stop it.
I can't believe that happened.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully it'll come back.
Maybe you'll come back.
Okay, well then let's move on to your number two? Because people kind of get a bucket list, although I do think people really love seeing other people's ideas. You know, it gives you ideas. But
I have a little bucket list highlight in my Instagram. I will post mine tonight and add it to my highlight so you can see it.
Okay, that's a great idea. All right, let's talk about number two.
Okay, number two, again, just like the structure we talked about, and forgive me, my phone is plugged in and I know I'm wobbly. I'm really trying here, people. With the lack of structure, I created the summer bylaws, and I chose the word bylaws. I was explaining it to the girl, but when you look up the word bylaw, it means just basically creating expectations for a group. And so I told the girls I didn't want to focus on rules this summer. We were going to have so much fun, but I did want us to remember our responsibilities at home, our responsibility as learners, our responsibility with our body, all the different things. And so our summer bylaws, I also have that on my website with the summer bucket list. But it's just focusing on things we're for and not against. And so it's in the kitchen. I have been so incredibly amazed by their resiliency, and also their like way that they've set boundaries for themselves. Like, it's the one dessert a day, and I think desserts in the summer, and there's been grace, I promise, but I think it can just get out of hands with the ice cream and the popsicles and the everything. And so they'll sit there at lunch and be like, do I want ice cream at the pool, or do I want something later? And I've loved just of what this is teaching them, because they're self-regulating themselves and they're asking, what do I really want? And I want to save it for later. So that's bylaws. I'm trying to remember if I forgot anything.
Can you be a little bit more specific about like what your bylaws are?
Yes.
What your routine looks like how you create these structures and these routines, because although you are a very fun, carefree, summer camp person, you are one of the most structured people I know.
It's true.
So how do those two things, talk to us about how those two things can live in unity with each other?
That's a great question. And I always say this because my sister is very lighthearted and carefree. And so I always say her kids probably think I'm like a drill sergeant when they're at my house. Because there's just a way we do everything. And again, with my own kids, it took very little nagging, and then it was just rhythm and routine. And so for me, it's not about nagging. It's just about setting expectations, allowing your kids to live up to them, and then cheering them on in the midst of it. And so our summer bylaws, at the top, it says, today we will. And then it says, read and continue learning each day. Eat daily meals. And again, the eat daily meals, I didn't want us to just snack all day long. And when I put their actual meals on the table, not eat them because they've been snacking. So that was more for the respect of me as the mom doing the work of preparing the meals. I didn't want them to not eat it.
Right.
Play outside and use our imagination. Create something or color something. Be kind and helpful to one another. Enjoy what is good, true, and beautiful. Have you brushed your teeth, made your bed, put up your pajamas, put laundry in your basket, had your breakfast, and dressed for the day? All those things happen before they're still waking up at 6:50. It's summer. They don't like to sleep in. It's fine. My kids will one day maybe. But all those things are done before 8 a.m., before really they're even eating breakfast. And so then when we start our day, they've just done those things. I rarely have to ask them to do anything because that's just what they do. I sometimes do. My kids are not perfect. I'm like, hey, remember, your bed's not made. But there is still a little bit of structure in the home because, like I always tell my girls, our home is supposed to be a place of peace and refuge. And if it is, there needs to be order.
That's right. I agree. Okay, so let's go on to number 3.
Okay. Don't miss the mundane. So this is just, I feel like, to me, it's all about gratitude. And that's why I don't want anybody to feel overwhelmed with summer or overwhelmed with making a bucket list, because it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be extraordinary. It just can be really simple. And I think the more what we focus on expands. And so if we're focusing on the little things and we're focusing on gratitude, then those are the things that are going to expand in our heart and mind. And it's about not missing those little things. Yes, our beach trip that's coming up is going to be an amazing week of our summer. But all the days that there hasn't been, today at the library with just my girls, or today going through the Chick-fil-A line and them singing the song at the top of their lungs, all those things I haven't missed. And because I haven't missed those, it makes all the moments beautiful, not just the big grand moments. So I just think for us to really focus on gratitude and not missing the mundane, and not getting, I had this written down, but just like the moments where something goes wrong and you sing a silly song to reground yourself, or now my thing is like, oopsie daisy. And if I say it really loud and it was an accident and they didn't mean to do it, but I'm frustrated, if I say oopsie daisy really loud, it like diffuses me, it makes them laugh, and then we can all move forward. So it's just creating those little things to help even the mundane moments of summer easier. Be kind to yourself as a mom when you're there at home a lot more often with your kids than you're used to. I think all those things are really important.
Okay, so to follow up on that, what do your disciplines in gratitude look like? Like practically speaking, like how do you keep, because like I don't think you have to have a discipline of some sort. It doesn't just like, the mindset doesn't just like come to you if you want it to. You have to have a discipline. What does that look like for you specifically?
For me specifically, sometimes it's coloring in the morning, whether it's like before the girls wake up or after they've woken up with them. And while I color, I will just go through things that I'm grateful for in my mind. It's almost become like a prayer pattern. And then at night, I do the same thing in my bath. I try to focus on all the little things that I'm so grateful for that happened that day. And even the things that weren't awesome, trying to find the gratitude that gets me out of that feeling of frustration or disappointment. I think it's just been the thing that's rescued me from angst is gratitude. And so it's the thing I keep going back to.
Yeah, that's good. So setting aside a specific time to either like write down or just run over or pray or thank God for whatever good happened today. Okay. All right. Number 4.
And this kind of, I feel like it leads beautifully into where we just ended that. You can only give what you have already received. And Ashton, as an Enneagram 2, he reminds me of this a lot. The checks and balances of, hey, can you say yes to doing that for that person? Are you filled up enough? Have you taken care of yourself? Have you had enough whatever alone time? And another thing we have in our house that's on my letter board right now actually is be, do, have. And we get these out of order a lot, especially in our culture. We think it's do, and then have, and then we can be. But it has to start with be, and then we can do, and then we will have. And so I think for us, especially as moms, you have to lean into what you need and desire and what you're curious about and what you are excited about and passionate about, even if it's for a moment in the morning or time in the evening. For me, I carve out time in the evening after my girls have gone to bed, and I take a daily bath, and I am ritualistic about it. No matter how late it is, I'm going to get and sit in that bathtub for 30 minutes or an hour or some time to reflect and to listen to a podcast, to read a book, to pray, to just sit in silence, whatever it is. But I feel like that is what fills my soul and has me ready to give out the next morning. I'm not really a morning person, so sometimes it's in the morning. It's easier for me actually when they're in school. But I think it's so important for us to remember what that is. Even my counseling appointments, I love going to. It so refreshes my soul. Having coffee with a friend, my book club, a Bible study. So don't forget to be before you do, and then you'll have.
That's awesome. Okay, so one thing I wrote down when I was reading through, I got her list in advance. So I was reading through it, and I created one question that I think comes up a lot is mom guilt all the time, like when we want to do something for us. How do you struggle with that at all? If you do, how do you handle it? Like when you need your time, or, I mean, it sounds like the bad thing is after the kids go to bed, so that doesn't take away from them. But there must be something that you need to do outside of mom time. And if you struggle with that, how do you counterbalance it?
Yeah, I think we all struggle with it. And I think if we say we don't, we're in denial. I think even part of why I do it in the evenings is because I feel less shame and guilt because they're in bed and there's nothing I can be doing for them or with them at that time. And so that to me is why I have so scheduled that to where I feel the most peaceful about doing those things. Does that make it right? Don't know. But there are still times when I go on vacation with just Ashton when he's speaking somewhere, or I have book club on Thursday night, and that will be before the girls go to bed. So there are definitely times when I'm away from them and can battle the guilt and shame of doing that. But I think it's communicating with our kids, especially when they're an age of mine are 8 and 6, and I can say, Mommy is so excited to go spend time with Daddy for these 2 days. Thank you so much for being flexible and loving for us to do this. So it's just, Mommy's so excited to go to book club. Let me tell you about this book I'm reading. I think it's engaging our kids in what we're doing, and our kids just want to know why. I think sometimes we expect for them to know why already, or that they're not old enough to know why, or that they shouldn't even deserve to know why. And so with me, I just try to engage my kids in the conversation, allow them to ask me questions, allow them to be sad about it and to say, I know you're disappointed. I'm not going to be there to tuck you in, but thank you so much for allowing me to go do this. It's going to refresh my soul, and I'm going to get to see this friend, and our kids are ultimately going to be fine. But I think when we don't let them into the conversation, it's probably harder on them.
Right. So communication.
Yeah.
And treating them like not people.
Yes.
Not just kids that don't know anything or shouldn't know anything. That's a great point. How do you balance intentionality and having an intentional summer with like free time for your kids and non-structured time where, it's just like maybe there's an afternoon where it's like you just go play and there's not like an intentional schedule. How do you balance those two things? I think Bren froze for a minute. Am I frozen too, or does anybody? Oh, we lost Bren. Okay. I'm going to see if she comes back on. Is anybody seeing me? Okay, you can't see me either. Are you just hearing me? Okay, so you can see me too. Okay. Hopefully she'll... Her phone caught on fire. Ashton, what are you saying? Okay, hopefully she can hop back on. Oh, okay. Ashton, can she maybe borrow your phone and hop on from your phone? Yes, that would be great. Oh my gosh, her phone really said it was too hot. Emergency shutdown. Okay. That's so funny. Never know what's going to happen when you go live.
Like run outside. I was like, my phone is literally like my hand was hot and it said emergency and it like shut it down. It said temperature too hot.
Oh my gosh. When he said her phone caught on fire, I'm like, what? I thought maybe there was like water or something. I don't know.
Y'all, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm fired. I'm never going to do this. Y'all are never going to ask me to do this again.
Am I at least unfrozen now?
Yes. Now I can see you.
Okay. Okay. So my question was, how do you balance?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm going to phrase this right, but intentional time and structured time that we set up with our kids, like an activity or, okay, I'm going to like really look in your eyes and I'm going to like listen to you. And then the whole like go play, like, you know, like just go play and like be with your sister, be with your friends or entertain yourself. Like, I need a cup of coffee. I can't entertain you. Like, I am not the entertainment 24/7. Like, where is that balance for you? And how could you?
And I think it's one of those things that it's going to look different for every family based upon the age of your kids, how many siblings your kids have, all those different things. So I will just speak for myself, and that there are lots of times my girls are playing just the two of them and I'm doing things around the house. I do think summer, with as fun as the expectation is that mom is, and all the things I have planned, there is a 6:50 a.m. Hey mom, what's the plan for today?
Right.
And I have to fight the entitlement of, like you're saying, oh, well, I have to cater to all your needs and make sure you have the best day ever, every day this summer. So there is absolutely a balance. And today it was like rainy. It was actually amazing in Texas. The high was, I think, 74 today. It was incredible. But we went to the library. Like, the pool wasn't open on Monday. So we still went and did things that we had said we were maybe going to do this week. But I didn't let them dictate the day. Even though they were asking and they were wondering, the only thing we had on the agenda was our appointment at 10 at the CareNet Pregnancy Center, and that was a serving opportunity. That was, how are we going to go get involved? How are we going to get to go babysit these kids and all these different things? So that was the only thing we had. And then I kind of from there was like, okay, it's actually a great day to go to the library. And so they sat on my lap outside on the patio and we read books at the library. That didn't feel hard to me. That felt like a great joy to me. But there are times when we got home that I was like, hey, it's beautiful outside. Go jump on the trampoline for as long as you can, because it's never going to be 70 degrees in June again.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's just the balance. And I think it's what the mom needs. I don't need a ton of me time. I may need more than I think, but I really do get that time at night and it fills me up enough. But if you know what you need, again, it's the be, do, have. Ask for what you need, carve that out, hire a babysitter, ask your husband to help, in the evening so you can go do X, Y, and Z. But we can give the best of us to them if we've taken care of ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that we should always aspire to be more intentional, but I also don't want to make this like, I don't want other moms to be like, oh, I can never reach that. Like, that is so high. Like, I can never like be intentional every day. Like, that's not,
absolutely.
I will admit I am not that kind of mom. Like, I'm like, okay, 3 times a week. Okay. we get like 3 activities a week. Yes. And then other than that, it's like we go to the park.
Yes.
We'll go get ice cream on Fridays, like the library, like small things. Yeah. But I mean, I cannot be a cruise director 24/7. I just can't.
I know.
I was not blessed with the camp director personality.
I'm like, and that's where I'm like, no one feel intimidated. Nobody think that they need to go be This was not your degree, it was mine. Nobody needs to be the mom I am to their kids. My kids are different. They've grown up with me. And so their expectations of me are their expectations. Your kids' expectations are of you. They know you. They know you like to have your coffee in quiet. They know who you are and they love who you are. Our kids need who we are, not who somebody else is.
Right.
If anybody,
so
if
I wanted to address that
tonight, hear that.
I wanted to address that because I want moms to like maybe be inspired to like put one of these 5 things into practice. Like do one thing that maybe can make you a more intentional mom. But I don't want people to like walk away from this or like see the title and be like, oh, I could never do that. So I just wanted to make sure to cover that point.
I 100% agree. I hope no one has heard me say that. That was not my intention.
Oh no, I know. Okay, so number 5.
Number 5, take pictures and videos and then do something with them. We all have, I think I have like 23,000 pictures on my phone. I would love for everybody to tell me how many pictures and videos they have. I mean, as moms, it's just the most astronomical number. And then we get so overwhelmed, we don't know what to do with them. So for me, I do these yearbooks for the girls. The company who I did the yearbooks for, like, they went under. They stopped making the books. It was called My Publisher. I was really sad. So I'm 2 years behind, 1.5 years behind on their books. But I have done these adventure journals. So anytime, 12,000 give or take. Love it, Claire.
I have 3,000. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Do you delete them from your phone?
I delete once a month. Like just, yeah, I go through like one. I'm a person that can't have the red email, like the one.
I
like
can't either, but I can't delete it. It makes me too nervous.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I delete my non-favorites, but I'm a photographer. I call all the time.
That's
like I know what I want to keep, but
that's true. So the yearbook idea I do for each kid, and then the adventure journals. So anytime you're doing like a weekend trip or just an excursion that you took a whole bunch of pictures on, I do them through Artifact Uprising. I have like, so this year when we go to the beach next year, it'll be volume 9 of our 30A journals. And then when we go to Crested Butte in July, it will be volume 6 of our Crested Butte journals. So each place that we go, and like Chicago has 1 volume because we randomly went there with the girls. But anytime we've done like a trip or an excursion or some fun event, I make an adventure journal with all the fun pictures that we've taken. And it's the girls' favorite books to look at on the coffee table. People do chapbooks. That's amazing. Anything you have with your pictures, just do something with them. And then even with your videos, like I've started to just throw all of my favorite videos into a file for the year. And just every year we have the yearbook of videos where at least they're compiled and I can shoot them into iMovie and create a little movie for them. But then when it's 10 years down the road, I don't have to sort through 10 years of videos. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think what else I have.
But once you get, okay, this is what I would do. Like I do the chat books thing. It just automatically does it.
Yep.
But once those are off of your phone and they're in a book, then you can delete, right? Or you don't delete.
I don't delete. I'm so nervous to delete.
But do you put them in the cloud or what? And this is obviously completely not on our subject matter, but people want to know. One person said, let's do a live just on this. Because I mean,
I know.
Picture storage is a big issue. Like you could write a whole website on it.
I know. Ashton, if you're still watching, bring me some of the adventure journals and my bucket list. You may not be watching after my phone caught on fire and I ran in there and I was like, help, save me.
I thought you were going to jump on his phone.
I was going to try.
Okay. Well, while we are like finishing up the photo talk, if you have questions for Bren about intentionality, like I'm telling you guys, she's the queen. So whatever questions you have.
We're really just going to call me the cruise director now. That's going to be my new name.
Camp counselor. Yeah.
Claire, I do have an external hard drive. And I do have them on the cloud and I do have them on my phone. I guess it's just I like them being on my phone because when I look for something, I have access to it. I don't know.
I don't know how you have enough storage for 12,000. You must have like the biggest iPhone or something.
I think I have the biggest iPhone, which is maybe why it's
like 64.
Maybe why it's
64
catching on fire.
Probably so. Okay, does anybody have any questions about any of the 5 things we went over? Do you want to just say them real quick?
Yeah.
Just say this.
Just to recap, the create a summer bucket list, set bylaws or rules or clear expectations, don't miss the mundane. You can only give what you have already received, the be, do, then have, and take pictures and videos and do something with them.
Okay.
I love that everybody's still talking about deleting pictures.
I'm telling you, it's a big thing. Like our generation of parenting, like there's never been like in college and before that we just had like those disposable cameras and you just printed it out and put it in a box somewhere. Like no one's had this problem before of like literally having a camera in your pocket all the time. So
okay, let me go grab my bucket list. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Okay. Okay, so if anybody has any questions about being more intentional this summer, shoot them over to us now, and we're going to try to take a couple questions, and then we will wrap up. Okay, any tips on intentionality in life with a baby? I'm sure Bryn will. I think one tip I have a just turned 3-year-old, so I'm a little bit closer to the baby stage than Bryn is. But one big thing that I didn't really learn until like later in my childbearing years was getting up early in the morning. I'm answering a question, Bryn.
Oh, you're right.
Getting up early in the morning and getting ready for the day. That is was a game changer for me. And I did not learn that until my middle was probably 3. And even when I had another baby 5 years later, I continued that habit of getting up in the morning, having some quiet time to myself, and getting myself ready for the day. And for me, that looks different than like probably for Brent or for Claire. Like I have a fairly complicated routine. Like yoga clothes are not like, that's not what I get ready in. I like to put on like real clothes and makeup and like do my hair and make myself feel good. And that to me was a really intentional act. Someone asked any tips on intentionality in life with a baby. And that was one of my things, is like being intentional about getting ready for the day. It changed my attitude. It changed my perspective. I was ready to see people. If someone stopped by for coffee, I wasn't like, oh, I'm still in my, I was ready to go. And that was a big game changer to me that I didn't learn till probably my middle was 3.
Yep.
Do you have any tips for intentionality with
I'm seeing a few of talking about kids that have the different ages. And I think it's a great point. I think for me, it was really easy because my girls were pretty much always in similar seasons. And we've gone to the pool most every single day in the summer since the girls were little. It looked a lot harder then than it does now, but I still did it then. And so I remember all of you that have the baby. I remember when Story was, 19, 20 months old and I was pregnant. And then I remember taking Sterling as a 6-month-old to the pool, and Story wanted to play in her puddle jumper. And at that point I was like, okay, Story's fine in the puddle jumper. I'll make sure I watch the baby. And so there's always that hard season, especially around water, which is a whole other live that you have done. It was amazing. But
yeah, and puddle jumpers aren't good, so just put that out there. Do your research about puddle jumpers, but we didn't know that 4 years ago.
Yeah. So I just think that even if there's parts of summer that are too hard for you to do with your age of kids and keep it simple. Like put your baby down for a nap and play slapjack with your older kid, or like build a magnetile tower. I think don't have these grand expectations because they're still kids and they still are as amazed with catching a firefly, or Sterling was carrying around those cicada shells all day. So they are still so enthralled with the little that I think we feel more pressure to make it something big, and they don't. So don't put yourself out trying to do something crazy.
And I am actually in this season right now because I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and I have a 3-year-old. And so my 11-year-old and my 8-year-old's very immature. He's really more like a 4 to 6-year-old maturity-wise. So I have to cater to the boys, and I have to cater to my 11-year-old who's very mature. So what I have done, I mean, and it's very hard. I don't have all the answers, but one thing I am doing is I'm doing like days where each of them gets to pick. Yeah. Mainly my older two. The 3-year-old doesn't really have an opinion quite yet, but so it's not always about the boys and doing what the little boys want to do. I do give Adelaide, my older one, a choice of like, what do you want to do today? What museum do you want to go to? So that she feels like she is doing something she enjoys and is interested in.
Yep. And Kat, I just saw her write, and it's something that one of our mutual friends told us. And she has older kids, 4 older kids, and now she has a foster baby. But in that season, she would say she'd be out for a run or something, and we'd be at home with littles, or she'd be out at a coffee shop doing her Bible study, and I was doing whatever. And she'd say, it's just not your turn yet, but it's going to be your turn. And so it was something that just got through of like, hey, this crazy bucket list I have that's hilarious and funny, that looks very different than it did 4 years ago.
Right.
So for these things, for those of you that are in a different season, it's just not your turn for these things. But that doesn't mean that you can't put things on there that matter as equally to your child as they do these things that matter to mine.
Right, again, for their specific stage and their specific interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, any other questions? A baby. Gosh, just hold that baby and rock that baby. That's the most intentional thing you can do for that baby this summer, is smell its head and, oh, I miss it.
I know, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
So fast.
Okay, if there's any other questions, I'll show y'all this really quick, and then, and it's kind of hard to see. And I can post this later so you can see it, but it's literally just a piece of paper printed. The girls love to take different markers and cross it off. Fireworks, that's gonna happen. Like, put it on there. Like, you're gonna hear or see fireworks, or even those little pop things you drop. 4th of July
and they love just like checking it off the list.
Yes, exactly.
Like, that's part of the fun.
Stargazing, everyone can see stars. Go outside and see them. Like, these things can be so simple. Eat breakfast all day. That's the one thing they have been asking for all June already, is when are we going to eat breakfast all day? Breakfast for breakfast, breakfast for lunch, breakfast for dinner. Like, not hard, so easy, and they're so excited about it. One of our favorite things we do every summer is our lemonade stand. Their ideas get more creative every year, and it's so, I can't wait to do that with them this summer. And that's what becomes fun, is a tradition of the items. Then they can't wait. The neighborhood water balloon fight. We are so excited to do that in our new neighborhood, but we are so sad because this is the first out of 4 years that we haven't done that with our friends in our old neighborhood. So it's keeping the same tradition with a new community and a new group of friends, and we're so excited to share that with them for the first time. So surprise someone. Like, that could be anything. So simple and easy. It could be big, it could be small. Host a talent show, create a family painting. That one I'm also really excited about. We've got this big canvas, and we're all going to get together one night and paint different things on it with different colors and say what it means. So those are just a few of mine. I'll post the rest of them. But that's, again, don't look at this and think you have to do this. this is just I am doing with my specific family. What you are doing with your specific family matters, whether you have it on a piece of paper or not. So no shame and no discouragement from this. I want you to feel encouraged, if anything.
And it also depends on where you live and what area you're in and
yes.
what's available to you in your area as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
As far as like activities go, but it sounds like a lot of yours are more like home based.
Yeah.
Versus like, you know, go to the White House, which is on our list.
I know. It's not on mine. Maybe it will.
White House tour. Okay, so it's going to cut us off in like probably 10 minutes. So it's a good time to wrap it up. But can you tell us tell us about the bucket list that they're available for download? Can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah. On the Art of Neat website, you can download the PDF or the JPEG image and print it at your local FedEx. It's $5 to print it. The bucket list is $15. And you can edit it yourself. I can send you I think you download the JPEG because I've sized it perfectly for FedEx to print. But if you want to edit it in Pages or whatever other document, the font I use is Moonflower, and then you can just download that free font and edit it, and then you can print it at FedEx if you like it for all to be typed. Some people, their kids have loved to write
it in.
Yes.
Okay. And how much is that again? It's $15?
$15, yes.
And it's about $5 to print out.
It's $5 to print out. Yep. I think it's like $5.17.
So if you want like of course you can also just do this on
wrapping paper,
craft paper, or
a piece of paper.
A piece of paper. But if you want like something, which it is kind of nice to like have something to display, so you don't forget about it. I don't know how you are, but if it's not like in my face.
Yeah. And the girls, they kind of go over there in the morning and they're like, what should we do today?
Yeah.
Even if they're like, hey, who can we send a care package to? Or they'll be out and they'll hear about somebody and be like, hey, we should definitely do something for them. On our bucket list, it's take somebody cookies. They need to be the person because it sounds like they need cookies. So it just also creates an awareness of other people around us and what they need. So even if you're not doing things on that day, it like gives you excitement and perspective for the rest of the days that summer to have more purpose.
And I love that you have service type things on your list too. That's a great tip too. I haven't seen that on a lot of lists. So can you tell us what, other than the cookie or surprise somebody, what are the other service oriented?
Take someone a meal, serve a neighbor, deliver cookies to a friend, send a care package, surprise someone, celebrate someone. Those are all the ones that are outside focused.
Okay. So would you say that's like a third of your list ish, or about?
Fourth, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll send you my address when I get off the phone. You can send me those keys.
There you go. But the things that aren't on there are things that we do. We serve at the local food bank, CareNet Pregnancy Center that we're serving. So there's other things that are not on there that, it's so funny because so many people are like, man, I've done all these things. I should have added them to the bucket list. Like we could have had 2 or 3 summer bucket lists this summer. So what this does is writing things down creates that intentional drive to do it when it's not even written down. I feel like this is contagious. And so when we start to live this way, all of a sudden our fall, there's more purpose in our fall because there was so much purpose in our summer. And so really this is just a conduit to purpose. And I think it's just fun to start out and as a family live more intentionally so that you can continue to do that in the rest of the months.
Yeah, that's a great point, that even though like it's a bigger picture than just a bucket list. Like it's getting you into a mindset, especially when you do have those service type things on. It's not all entertainment.
Yes.
So, and I think that goes back to what you first said about, I think it was something like action creates purpose.
Yeah.
And that is the root of intentionality.
Yep.
So really we've gone full circle here.
Big bow around it.
Yeah.
In the midst of me being late, my phone falling over, and then it catching on fire.
But we're here. We did it.
Thank you for all your grace.
Thank you for coming again.
Yes.
And blessing us with your wisdom and just your life and giving us something to aspire to, but not too much. Just do one thing. Just choose one or two. You know, don't go nuts. And
if y'all have questions later, I'm an open book. Ask me anything. Send me a direct message. I love that this space is not just, this is why I love this live, is because I don't do live things with myself because I can't do it unless somebody else is with me. So I was like, Meg, I will do it with you.
You mean you don't talk to your phone on a daily basis?
I'd even tell my sister when I'm with her and she's doing it, I'm like, I just can't. I don't know how to do it. So anyway, I don't get to see or interact very much, but I love to through words. And so please send me any questions or things that any ideas you have that I could add to my bucket list next time. I am not the originator of good ideas. So I would love to see and post, whether you make it on a piece of wrapping paper or a paper, or you do something with this after it, share it with me. I would love to see what your family is doing.
Go follow Bryn.
Yeah.
Tag her. Claire and her family call it a live list.
Yeah.
I've heard that one too.
Yep.
Yeah, but follow Bryn, and I do agree, like your words, I'm surprised you're not a professional photographer. That's not in your like repertoire of careers, but you take beautiful pictures and you have beautiful words to go with the pictures. So you're definitely a great follow if people aren't already, and you'll definitely be inspired. So thank you for coming again.
Of course. Thank you all again.
And this time I'm going to screen record it, put it on YouTube, put it on the website. It's all going to be,
I love it.
Going to be there now that we know what we're doing. But anyways, thanks for being here, and we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good.
Okay.
See y'all.
Bye.